Hello, my name is Amelia Pasco and welcome to this Crash Course episode. This episode will be about the Renaissance era. We can take a look at some of the era's most interesting inventions, from Leonardo da Vinci parachutes to Galileo's precursor to the modern thermostat. Many things were invented during this era, like the barometer, parachute, thermoscope, and the printing press. In this era formed a new group of people, and they called themselves the Humanists. The Humanists believed that people's abilities to control their own lives and achieve greatness. Humanists hunted for ancient Greek and Roman books, coins, and other artifacts that could help them learn about the classical world. The humanist studies brought a lot of good into the world, and they were able to create a philosophy based on the importance and dignity of each individual. Even though all of this was good and it created some conflict in the Catholic Church. There was a lot of leading figures in the Renaissance era that created the world that we know today. Gutenberg was dramatically improved on the existing printing methods. He invented the printing press that was used movable typing characters that could be rearranged. Because of this, the illiterate rate went down and more people learned to read. Everyone knows Michelangelo, the famous painter. Well, he labored for almost 4 hours on a high platform in the church to complete his work. He covered the curved ceilings with brilliantly colored scenes that were from the Bible. Nicholas Copernicus wasn't like the other people. He was a free thinker, and he wasn't afraid to question accepted beliefs. When people thought Earth was the center of the universe and everything revolves around us, he was like, nah, we revolve around the sun, not the other way around. A theory that made in his name, it is called the Copernicus theory, and is now the theory that is part of modern astronomy. Queen Isabella was the first of a huge part of the discovery of the New World. She was sponsoring Christopher Columbus's voyages, and she was supporting scholarships in art. She collected fine art and helped build schools. Now let's talk about another queen, Queen Elizabeth I. She worked to strengthen England's economy, and she encouraged trade and commerce. Her findings of sea exploration helped England's gain footholds in North America. By the time Elizabeth died, England was one of the strongest and richest countries in the world. Many trades were taking place here, many items were transported here, and fruits, clothes, animals were traded to places that didn't have those types of materials. At the beginning of the Renaissance, Italy was the center of the world culture. Genoa, Milan, Venice, Rome, Verona, and even Florence were economical, trade, and financial leaders for Europe. Pretty cool, huh? There were changes in thinking during the Renaissance. New ideas in topics like art, science, astronomy, religion, literature, mathematics, philosophy, and politics were developed and advanced through this era. The influence of the Renaissance impacted and shaped the future. The changes that happened led to a modern era like the internet, laptops, and much more. Without the advances made during the Renaissance, the world that we know today wouldn't exist. Because of new discoveries, life was improving, but for most of the institutions that began to decline was the Catholic Church. Religion was still important. New religions and ways of thinking had been discussed. The first quote of the Renaissance was translated to English was, "A style possessing many points of rude resemblance was the most elegant and refined character of the art of the Renaissance in Italy," by W. Dyce and C. H. Wilson, Letters to the Lord Milbank, in 1837. The Renaissance was most strongly associated with Italy and Florence in particular, but the other European countries had their own Renaissance. The Netherlands developed its own Renaissance, revealing a paint including John van Eyck. The artistic style of the Netherlands later had an influence on Italy. Key figures in the English Renaissance include William Shakespeare, John Milton, William Byrd, and William Tyndale. William Shakespeare is one of the most iconic writers that has ever lived. He wrote many plays like Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, Hamlet, and Tempest, and much, much more. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Crash Course talking about the wonderful Renaissance era. I'd like to give thanks to my director, Mary Murray, and thank you everyone who watched this episode.